Hello! Do you feel that you are just one more provider? Do you feel that you are lost in the sea of all the guys who do the same thing as you? Because you may think that you are unique, but none of us is unique. Even if your solution, your product is unique, you are somewhere in a niche or a sub-niche where there are other guys. So do you feel that you are seen as just one more among the many? What if you could be perceived as being the only one they should go to? Yeah, wouldn't that be great to be seen as the one that they have to go to get everything that they need? Be the one that sticks in their brain, that is there and that will no more move out from there. Because the brain needs a very specific thing. If you think about the brain, especially the decision maker in the brain, if I compare it to a computer, let's say, basic informations for a computer are called bits, 1 and zeros. Per second, the amount of information that is sent to your brain, to the brain of your clients, can be compared to 10 million bits. 10 million bits of information are sent to your brain every second. And do you know how many of these informations the decision maker in your brain, the primal brain, how many of these informations that brain can handle per second? Million? More? Less? It can only handle 50. 50. It can only handle 50 bits of information per second. So, when you come somewhere, there are so many informations that how do you want to get out of these informations to be seen and perceived as the one they should work with? There is one trick here that you can use on the primal brain. Because the primal brain, to sort all this information out, has a specific way to do it. That primal brain is using something called contrast. Let me give you an example. If you go inside a room where there is fresh paint, you smell that fresh paint. And what happens after a couple of minutes? You no more smell that fresh paint. But guess what? The fresh paint is still on the walls. The molecules of paint are still there. They are still in the air. But your brain has decided to filter this information out, to remove that information because it's no more needed. Because there is no more contrast. It's always the same information. It removes it. Take the sky. The sky is blue. Use a chromatograph, something that analyzes colors. Use a chromatograph on the sky and let that chromatograph tell you the colors that are out there. And there are many more colors than just blue. So you have to use that contrast. When you say, for example, that you are selling, let's say, energy drinks. I know a guy here around who sells energy drinks. So there are many energy drinks out there and there are pretty big players on that market. But he came with a very specific ingredient in his drink that no one else has. So he's the guy who has that energy drink with that specific, it's a fruit in there. He creates contrast. So people are going to pay attention to him. And I can tell you, he is currently invading the supermarkets here around. Great job. So this is what you need. I have a client right now. I'm training a client right now to prepare a 3-minute pitch because they are going to pitch for the next 4 months to get a prize, to get investors and so on. But they are lost in the middle of 15 companies. 15 companies that are all doing innovative products. So we are going to work with them, and we're already working with them, to make them unique. To make them create a contrast that will make them stick in the brain of the decision makers. And that's exactly how you want to do it. Think about it. Do you remember all the talks Steve Jobs gave? Of course not. Do you remember how he was dressed? Everyone remembers it. Because as the CEO of a major company, he was dressed completely differently from all the others, creating a huge contrast. And he stick to that contrast as long as it was making sense. It was his style. He decided to be that way. You have to create contrast however you want to do that. So you may want to create something bright, shiny, well, the other ones are only dark and blue, for example. Or one other trick to do is to make you unique. You have to be the only one, because if you're the only one, you are creating the most contrast, because no one else can be the only one, because you are that one. So you have to create contrast. You have to be seen as the only one out there. So I invite you to download the swipe file I have added here in the comment sections, which is called the Persuasion Strategies and Techniques Q&A, because I got many questions all the time, and I think I compiled something like 40 questions plus the answers on how to drive persuasion strategies and techniques. So I want to give it to you for free because I think it will help you. You will learn a lot, and once you have read it, if you have questions, just ask me. It will be my pleasure. So until then, I wish you a great end of the day, and I see you in the next video. Bye-bye.